Hey guys, Cobra Roll 915 here. Today's video is agendas that I will be pushing this season, specifically player agendas. Not going to include any Bengals players because the whole video will just be full of them. Nor am I including any rookies because I've made a couple videos now about rookies. Also worth mentioning, there's no specific structure. I'm not breaking it down by position or group or how much I like them. These are just some guys I'll be rooting for this season to do good. Anyways, let's just jump in. First up is Bears QB Caleb Williams. Was overshadowed a lot in his rookie year because the Bears struggled a lot, and then Jaden Daniels went on to win Rookie of the Year, lead the Commanders to the conference championship, and just have a great year in general. But that being said, Caleb didn't have a bad year, and I feel like I've seen people talking about him like he did have some type of terrible year, which is not the case. He didn't have an all-time rookie season, but he still had a pretty good year for a pretty bad Bears team. 3,000 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 87.8 passer rating, 481 yards on the ground. These aren't bad numbers. I'd say the real blemish was the sacks. Of course, that's not entirely his fault. A lot of that does go on the O-line, but some of those are a product of the QB trying to extend plays that aren't there and throw it away, and that was the case with Williams for some of these. But I'd say one of the biggest reasons I see people hate on Williams is not for his play, but mostly because Bears fans talk him up, which, I mean, first and foremost, letting a fan base change your perspective on a player is kind of weak-minded to begin with. But besides that, the best QB in their history played when that Austrian painter with the mustache was still alive. So yeah, of course Bears fans are going to be excited. I mean, who's the best QB they've had since 2000? Jay Cutler? Either way, I think Williams will excel under Ben Johnson. He's an offensive-minded coach, and they made a lot of good additions this offseason. I think most notably in his case, Joe Thuney, I believe he's a guard from the Chiefs. He was probably the best player on that offensive line during these last few years. And not only will he help keep Williams upright, but he also brings a championship pedigree because he won, I think, 2 rings. I don't think he was there for the first one, but I'm sure he was part of 2 of those Chiefs rings. Next up is running back Breece Hall. Contrary to Caleb Williams, I haven't really seen a lot of or any Breece Hall haters besides, of course, fans of divisional rivals. I mean, that's a given. I really like Hall. Had a down year last season with average efficiency, just okay stats, but the Jets also did have one of the worst run blocking O-lines last year. He was really excited to watch his rookie year, then tore his ACL, I think, before the halfway point. Came out last 2 seasons. It was a little bit slower, wasn't as, electric, but he was recovering from an ACL tear, so I give him the benefit of the doubt. And, again, one of the worst run blocking O-lines last year. That being said, I think he'll benefit a lot from the Armand Amimbo selection. He was an all-around talent at tackle, but notably, for the sake of Breece Hall, he was a great run blocker at Missouri. So I think he'll have a bounce-back year. Next up, our first defensive player. I'm a really big defense guy. I always love defense. And I'm picking Christian Gonzalez, cornerback for the Patriots. Was one of my favorite prospects going into the 2023 draft, and so far his play has solidified that sentiment. He got injured on early in his rookie year. I think it was like only the 4th game, but then he bounced back really nicely in his sophomore campaign. He was a second-team All-Pro. I think the Patriots could be a sneaky wild card team this year with the additions they made this offseason through free agency in the draft. I think Gonzo will be a big reason why they succeed if they do, because he is such an impactful member of that defense, one of the best cornerbacks in the league already, and he's going into year 3. I also love that he changed his number to 0. I mean, that's just something that I just want to shove in there because I really love that number on football jerseys. I think it looks really cool, and I'm glad that that's being adapted more in the NFL because I know there's a few more. I mean, I don't like seeing Roquan Smith with it because of course he's on the Ravens, but if he wasn't on the Ravens, I would like that. Either way, though, really glad he changed his number. Not that I think it was 9 before that. Not that 9's bad, but 0. 0 is cool as shit. Next up is a really underrated guy, Courtland Sutton. It's hard to stand out at his position, wide receiver, because it is arguably the most loaded position in football. Maybe you could make a case for running back, maybe QB, but it just feels like there's a lot more elite wide receivers than any other position. And Sutton, while he may not be elite, he's a very good wide receiver 1 that slips under a lot of people's radar because you have guys like Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and every year it seems like we get someone new. I mean, just last year we got Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas Jr., and the year before that we got Puka Nacua, and so on and so forth. But that being said, Sutton is still very good. I love the physical contested catch machine receiver archetype, and I think they're so fun to watch. There's a big reason why I love T. Higgins a lot. And Sutton, I mean, besides being on the middle, of course. And Sutton, he's 6'4", he has a very strong build, and he makes him a key example of that archetype. I was surprised to see he signed an extension this offseason because it felt like he was in trade talks all of last year up until the trade deadline. But nonetheless, okay, finally has a decent QB thrown to him in Bo Nix, and we saw their connection last year, how good that was. I'm pretty sure Sutton did crack the 1,000 yards, and I want to say double-digit touchdowns, but I'm not exactly sure. Either way, though, looking forward to seeing Cortland Sutton play this season. Next up, we're going back on the other side of the ball. I'm getting safety Derwin James. Really love watching Derwin James play. One of the last members of a dying breed, that being, hard-hitting, tackle-focused safeties. Very versatile. He splits snaps between the slot and the box and free safety, so he's all over the field on any given game. He'll be blitzing, he'll be in coverage, you see him get an interception, or he'll be providing run support. He's a very, Swiss Army knife type player, like Kyle Hamilton. He has some of the best defensive highlights in the league since he's become a pro. Like when he, slammed Travis Kelce at the goal line in the WWE. That was ridiculous. That was one of the coolest highlights of the 2020 so far for me. He's consistently been one of the best safeties in the league. He's been an All-Pro in 4 of his 5 healthy seasons, and I see no reason why that shouldn't continue in 2025. And we're flipping right back to the offensive side of the ball. Another wide receiver. This time I'm going with Jameson Williams for the Lions. Although I mentioned in the Cortland Sutton section, I do prefer the physical contested catch machines. Speedster wide receivers like Jameson Williams are fun to watch too, and he's one of the fastest in the league. He finally had his breakout year last year, having what should be his first of many 1,000-yard seasons, and he did it on only 58 receptions. He averaged 17.3 yards per reception, which was second in the league behind Alec Pierce's ridiculous 22.3, which just really shows how explosive Williams is. In an offense full of weapons, he may not be the best, but I'd say he's the most exciting. Maybe Jahmyr Gibbs, but Jameson Williams is really fun to watch. Next up is the only QB on this list, Trevor Lawrence. I've been very open with what I expect from Trevor Lawrence this season, that being a division title and at least being brought up in the MVP conversation. I think the new regime they have down there in Jacksonville did a great job through the draft and making some decent signings to address some major problems from last season, and I'm excited to see what kind of connection he will have with Travis Hunter, because I just found out today they just said he was listed at starting wide receiver and then backup cornerback, so he'll be a weapon for Trevor Lawrence. He's been getting some criticism, perhaps rightfully so, for being rather underwhelming as a number 1 pick, and I'm feeling and hoping he has a year that fully shows what he did at Clemson that had so many people excited back then and touting him as a generational quarterback. But we'll see. I'm really expecting a lot from Lawrence, and I'm really hoping he does perform to expectations. Finally, we have the most underrated guy on this little list, Jalix Hunt. Like many non-Eagles fans, I found out about him after a Super Bowl performance against the Chiefs where he had 1.5 sacks. First of all, he just has a really badass name, Jalix Hunt. Ooh. And he comes from a small school. He started at Cornell, then he transferred to Houston Christian, formerly known as Houston Baptist for those of you who are deep in the college football realm, like Sickers Committee. One of the most athletic pass rushers in the league. All of his combine tests last year were 80th percentile or higher, except for bench press, and 2 of them were even 90th percentile and higher. It'll be interesting to see if he can turn that raw athleticism into production in year 2, because in his rookie year he was in a part of a very deep and loaded Eagles defensive line room, but now they've had a couple of departures on that side of the ball, and he's slated to start. So will he be able to contribute in a much bigger role this year? I hope so. That'll do it for this one. NFL football is finally back. Let's go. Preseason, get that boy out of here. I'm tired of pretending I care about preseason. I don't care anymore. I want real meaningful football back. And we finally got it. NFL football is finally back. It'll only be the first game of the season will be like a few hours after this video uploads. Well, let's go. Only 3 more days until the Bengals make me question my life choices. Let's go. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like and subscribe. If you didn't, don't like and subscribe. Anyway, see you in the next one.